Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Matthew Peterson, and coming up on today's show, we got the latest Browns news and rumors. Let me tell you, we have a lot of ground to cover, so stick with me as we're going to go from story to story. And a good way to evaluate some of these news and rumor stories we'll touch on today is by using our friend the Bernie Kosar Heads rumor meter here. So we've got 0 Bernie heads, which means fake news. 1 Bernie head, which means small shreds of truth, meaning there's a little bit of ground behind that. 2 is people are talking. 3 is pretty likely. 4, Believeland, but never forget about our 0 Bernie heads. Fake news, it's never going to happen. So, first story up. So the Browns consider starting Baker Mayfield for Deshaun Watson if there is a potential suspension. 1 Bernie head. I wanted to give this fake news. The only reason I didn't give it fake news is because I know some of you sick SOBs out there want to see me jump into Lake Erie in December if he takes a snap. So I'll throw you a bone here and say there's a tiny shred of truth or potential behind this. There have been rumors and ideas tossed out there that Baker could end up starting for Deshaun Watson if he is suspended. The NFL has met / is currently meeting with Deshaun Watson, depending on when you are watching this week down in Houston, Texas. And like I said, if Baker takes a snap for the Browns, I'm jumping into Lake Erie in December for a polar plunge. That is how confident I am that it's not going to happen. I just do not see a way where the Browns and Baker shake hands after everything that's transpired the last couple months and go, so we're in a bit of a pickle. If you haven't heard, Deshaun suspended. Would you mind coming back to play for us? Now, Ian Rappaport hopped on Pat McAfee's show, and he had an interesting quote that came out of it. Let me share it with you guys. If there's a lengthy suspension, it actually makes sense for everyone to bury the thing and for him to go out and start and maybe do well and maybe get traded mid-season. Yeah, I understand the logic behind that, but it's not going to happen. Right? I understand in a perfect world, that makes a little bit of sense, right? Baker wants to get traded. The Browns need to up his trade value after a blunder of a season a year ago. The Browns would potentially need a quarterback if Watson is suspended. Yeah, this is a perfect world, but we don't live in a utopia. There's no way the emotions are going to get put to the side. But if you don't believe me, that's fine. Use this as an opportunity to voice your thoughts, or you can agree with me down below. Will Baker start if Deshaun Watson is suspended? Y for yes or N for no. Let me know how you feel about this one down in the comments section below. I'm putting a big fat N for no. I just do not say, it's not happening. And I know we said, like people, you know who said there's no way the Browns are going to get Deshaun Watson. This is way more of a less chance than that was, all right? Baker won't do this. Baker is way too proud of a person to suck it up and play for a couple games and then say, all right, Deshaun, the team's back yours again. The suspension's over. I'll hop back on the bench. And Kevin Stafanski, who was criticized by Baker openly last year, and there was that rumor that the Browns were looking for an adult in the QB room, even though they denied it. But, of course, they have to deny it. What are they going to say? That actually happened? No. So there's just no way these two sides agree to make the best of it for 4 games. Even if that is the most logical outcome, it's not happening. If you want to find other places to get Browns coverage, not only here on YouTube, check us out on Rumble by going to rumble.com/Browns Report. Links in the comments. It's in the description, high up too, so you can't miss us. Sauce to follow over there. We're knocking on the door of 2,000 subs, so make sure you check us out at rumble.com/Browns Report for even more Browns coverage. Our friend Josina Anderson had some interesting tweets that I think you guys should all see. So right before we started filming, she popped out and said, NFL source on Trevor Bauer. Look at what baseball did. If people don't think that's on people's radar, then public opinion matters. You think the NFL wants to be the organization that says sexual misconduct against women means more to one league than the other? Think about it. And what she's referring to with the NFL sources is that the Major League Baseball suspended Trevor Bauer for 2 full seasons for a similar-esque level of where he was with a sexual assault allegation case, right? Where Bauer was not convicted or was not found guilty, similar to Watson. Despite that, the MLB slapped down a 2-year suspension. Little worrisome if you're a Cleveland Browns fan if you think the NFL is going to follow a similar suit of, hey, even if the judicial system does not find you guilty, we do, and we're going to give you a 2-year suspension because baseball just did that. And if we do anything less, people are going to think we don't care as much. Josina followed that up with saying this. A quote from from Deshaun Watson's agent. We are fully confident that the facts will continue to show that Deshaun Watson did not violate any parts of NFL's conduct policy. David Mulgera, agent for Deshaun Watson. I mean, I don't know how much more I can add to that than, oh, that's just agent talk. What's the agent going to come on and say? Hey, we're feeling 50-50. Like, we're crossing our toes today. That's where we stand right now. But that's the latest on that side of things involving Deshaun and this wild idea of Baker Mayfield starting in his place. All right, next segment on today's show. Could David Bell be the biggest impact rookie for the Cleveland Browns? I give this one 2 Bernie heads. The reason why I'm not going maybe a little bit higher on this, and maybe I should go a little higher, is I'm in love with Perion Winfrey and Cade York. Like, those are going to be guys I think that will have a lot of volume and playing time coming their way. Let's revisit the Browns draft class, though. Like, Martin Emerson may be the best pick of this draft class, but he's got a ton of talent above him on the depth chart. Alex Wright's going to need to develop. Then there's Bell, Winfrey, and York, who we touched on. And then some day 3 guys. Jerome Ford, I think, is just in the wings for this season. Woods and Thomas, those are 2 sleeper picks. I loved where they got those guys, especially Isaiah Thomas. And then Dawson Deaton around 7. You take the best player on your big draft board, and that was Deaton here. But Bleacher Report thinks it's going to be David Bell. Here's what they said. The Browns don't have much depth at receiver. Amari Cooper figures to be their top wide receiver, but former 6th-rounder Donovan Peoples-Jones is next in line for targets, and Jarvis Landry is now gone. Bell is going to have every opportunity to carve out a significant role early on. And they're right on that. You look at the depth chart here for the Browns, and it's not very stable after Amari Cooper. We have Peoples-Jones there at 2, but he has not proven yet that he is a 2. Now, it's only been 2 seasons, and last year was tough when your quarterback was hurt all season. Schwartz was hurt all year. Then you have Bell, who I have at 4, just because I think as of right now, he's probably behind the 2 returning veterans. Wide receiver 2, though, is far from being set in stone. This is going to be a fun battle to watch throughout all of training camp and all of preseason. Who's going to emerge as the number 2 guy after Amari Cooper? I think it's going to be DPJ, but don't be surprised if it's one of the 2 third-round picks. I think we've all forgotten that Anthony Schwartz was picked A before David Bell was. And yeah, he did not have a phenomenal rookie year, but he had a lot of, reoccurring hamstring injuries that restrained him. So, if you think David Bell was a good pick by the Browns, let's show the new guy some love. Let's put his jersey number in the comments section. I love the Dawg Pound because I love the way you guys show out for this. So, type 18 if you think Bell was a great pick. There are some knocks on David Bell because of the slow 40 time he had, 4.65. But I just want to put this out there to remind you that, you don't have to be the fastest guy at the NFL Combine to be a good player. Allen Robinson, who ran a 4.6, is one of the better wide receivers in the NFL. Michael Thomas ran a 4.57. Cooper Kupp, who won the NFL Triple Crown last year, ran a 4.62, and he rolls in the slot. So you can have a bad combine performance and still be okay for your career, because David Bell's career at Purdue was fantastic. Nearly 3,000 yards in 30 games played, 21 touchdowns. He was the statistical leader for the Big Ten receiving-wise over the last 2 seasons. Bell is definitely a rising star. I don't know if I call it a rising star because you haven't even seen him play yet, but he's definitely an under-the-radar player. I think that's the cliche I want to go with, under-the-radar player. Now, if you have not subscribed to the channel, make sure you do so, because here at Chat Sports, we're all about competition, and my producer today, Marshall Green, runs our Giants channel, and they have taken over the sub-league, which I am frankly embarrassed by. So hit that big red button. Help us recapture that lead. We're going back and forth, neck and neck. So help us win the race to 10,000 subs by hitting that big red button. If you need more reasons to do it, maybe just a little salty that the OBJ trade with the Giants did not end like we all would have hoped for. Final segment on today's show. David Njoku extension. Is that on the way? I'll give this one 3 Bernie heads. I think it's more likely than the previous 2, that's for sure. And I think when there's smoke, there's fire. And ESPN had a very interesting article that came out about different potential extensions coming our way. The Browns and Njoku have been rumored to be in extension talks. Now, Cleveland did place that franchise tag back in early May on David Njoku. I think that was like a placeholder until they could figure out what they wanted to do. But if we have learned one thing, it's this offseason. Andrew Berry is not afraid to take Jimmy Haslam's checkbook and spend all of his money. Now, here's what Fowler wrote about this. The Browns showed they value Njoku this offseason by making him a long-term contract offer. The buzz around the league is the offer values more than $13 million per year, an impressive number for someone with just 1,754 receiving yards over 5 seasons. However, Njoku appears poised for a breakout with Watson as the new quarterback in Cleveland. If you check out David Njoku's franchise tag, that's $10.9 million. If I'm David Njoku, and I'm currently getting paid $10.9 million, and the Browns want to offer me close to 13, well, what do you think? How much would you pay David Njoku? I'm jumping all over that if I'm Njoku. But what would you do? Right? If you're Andrew Berry and you've got the checkbook, you got Haslam's money, what do you think is an appropriate figure to put on Njoku? Right? Is $13 million in the ballpark? If I'm Njoku, by the way, I take this deal and I run with it. I thought Fowler said it best. A guy who has accumulated 1,700 yards in 5 seasons is about to be offered or was offered, rumored to be offered, $13 million. Yeah, you take that money and you run to the bank and you deposit it and you never let it go because that is just an absolute steal of an offer right there. Wrap up the video with this question. Predict the Browns' 2022 record for me. What do you got them doing? It's difficult to say. I understand that. Still early on. But, hey, we need someone to go 17-0 or else we all collectively did not do it right. So let me know. Get your predictions in down below.